أعزائي الطلبة، أهلا وسهلا بكم وأرحب بكم بالمحاضرة الثانية لمحاضرة نيوبليجيا. هذه nomenclature and okay. وصلنا في ذيك المحاضرة إلى hamartoma وعرفنا what is the hamartoma, and now we have another term which is the teratoma. And the teratoma is a neoplasm. Teratoma is a tumor, not like hamartoma. Hamartoma is not a tumor, it's just focal malformation, while teratoma is a true neoplasm. And the teratoma is composed of mixture of tissues that are normally not found at the affected site. The origin of the teratoma is the what? The cell of origin of teratoma? No, it's the germ cells. Okay, okay. So it originates from the germ cells. At least 2 or 3 germ cell layers. What are the embryonic germ cell layers? You can remember? Endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. Okay? So the teratoma is a germ cell tumor. All germ cell tumor arises from more than 1, 2, or 3 embryonic germ cell layers, and is composed of tissues which are normally not present at the affected site. Unlike hamartoma, the tissues of hamartoma are normally present at the affected site. And the most common site for the most common site for the teratoma is ovary. Ovary is the most common site. In your practice, you will see teratomas mainly in the ovary. It could be seen in the testes, in the mediastinum, in the brain, in the retroperitoneum, at any site, but the most common site affected by teratoma is the ovary. And in ovary, usually the teratoma is mature. Mean it is composed of mature tissues. All the tissues in the teratoma is mature, so it is called mature teratoma. And the mature teratoma behave as benign tumor. This is a mature teratoma in the ovary, which is composed of cyst and contains hair, sebum, tooth, any tissue could be seen in the teratoma. Brain tissue, thyroid, pancreatic tissue, gastrointestinal tissue, skin, okay? Any tissue could be seen. All these tissues are normally not found in the ovary, okay? Another site for the teratoma is the testicular teratoma. Teratoma in the testes, particularly in adult, post-puberty or after puberty, are usually immature teratomas, composed of immature tissues. And this is called immature teratoma, and the immature teratoma will behave as malignant. So benign teratoma is mature teratoma is benign, and the malignant teratoma is immature teratoma is malignant teratoma. Okay? This subject of teratoma will be discussed in details at the specific subjects in the female reproductive system and in male reproductive system, okay, in the next term or semester. Now, the subject is what are the differences between the benign and malignant tumors. First is the mode of the growth. The benign tumors usually grow, benign tumors grow by expansion. And when the tumor expands, increases in size, it will compress or replace the surrounding tissues. So for example, a benign tumor in the mediastinum, when it expands, it will compress the esophagus and resulting into dysphagia. Okay? And also, the benign tumors remain localized at the affected site. The benign tumor does not have the ability to invade the surrounding tissues and does not have the ability to metastasize to distant sites, to travel, to give secondaries. What are the secondary tumors or metastatic tumors? Secondaries and metastasis is a characteristic feature of malignant tumor. And the benign tumors don't have the ability to invade the surrounding tissues and they don't have the ability to metastasize to distant sites. And usually because they don't invade the surrounding tissues, so they are well demarcated from the surrounding tissues and can easily be excised during surgery, and usually surrounded by fibrous capsule. This fibrous capsule is resulting from the compression of the surrounding connective tissue of the host. The organ is called host and the tumor is the tumor, okay? While the tumor is expanding, there will be compression of the surrounding connective tissues forming the capsule. The benign tumor has no ability to invade this capsule, but when the tumor is malignant tumor, this capsule is always invaded, macroscopically, grossly, or microscopically. And this is an example of the benign tumor, which is well demarcated from the host. This is the thyroid, and this is adenoma of the thyroid. You remember what is the meaning of adenoma? Okay, it is a benign glandular epithelial tumor. It's called adenoma. Okay, and this is the whitish color capsule surrounding the tumor, and the tumor is well demarcated. There is a sharp line between the tumor and the host tissue. While the malignant tumors metastases grow by destructive invasion of the surrounding tissue. They invade and destroy the surrounding tissues. So they are poorly demarcated from the surrounding tissues. And the most important character of the malignant tumor is the metastasis. They have the ability to metastasize to distant sites. And here this is this is the breast, this is the nipple, and this is the tumor. You can see the surroundings of the tumor are irregular, and the tumor extends arms, athwart to the surrounding tissues. This is due to invasion of the surrounding tissues. And the term cancer is coming from this appearance, similar to the cancer, okay? It extends arms in all directions. So the tumor is poorly demarcated from the surrounding tissues. And even excision of the tumor will be with difficulty, and the surgeon needs to excise the surrounding tissues in order to ensure complete excision because of the invasion of the surrounding tissue. لحد الآن واضحة الأمور؟ And this is just to compare between the mode of the growth of the benign tumor on the left side and the malignant tumor of the on the right side. Another big criteria of metastasis is the extremely dangerous property of malignant tumor. Without metastasis, there will be no dangerous behavior, no aggressive behavior of any malignant tumor. Okay, so the dangerous criteria of malignant tumor is the ability of the malignant tumor to give rise to distant metastases. Secondary tumors at distant sites. These secondary tumors are called metastases or secondaries. Metastases, S-E-S, بالأخير, not S-I-S, okay? Metastasis is the process of metastasis, and metastases mean the metastatic tumors. لحد يقول أكو خطأ إملائي مرة I-S ومرة E-S مكتوبة، واضح؟ These metastatic tumors or metastases or secondaries could be similar to the primary tumor and could be different from the primary tumor. So sometimes the pathologist can determine the site of the primary origin, the primary tumor. أكو مثال صار له سنين أضرب به مثل هسه تحدث المثال مالتي الإكزامبل في سنة من السنين ما أدري صار كم سنة إجت bone biopsy from a patient and it was metastatic thyroid carcinoma. Well, at the same time, another patient also had metastatic tumor in the bone, but it was difficult for me to determine what is the primary tumor. بهذا الأسبوع جت orbital extraorbital tumor in the orbit tumor, and it was very clear metastatic follicular carcinoma of thyroid, very similar to the thyroid carcinoma. Okay, and I gave my diagnosis. This is a metastatic thyroid carcinoma in the orbit. While in other cases, the pathologist may be unable, completely unable to determine the site of the origin of the primary tumor unless using the special scans, immunohistochemical scans, or even electron microscope, or even with these, the pathologist cannot sometimes determine the primary tumor, the site of origin of the tumor. And the term metastatic tumor or metastases or secondaries should be discontinuous from the with the primary tumor. Discontinuous means there is no continuity between the primary tumor and the secondary tumor. If there is continuity between the primary and the secondary tumor, this is not called metastasis, and this tumor is not called secondary tumor, but it is local extension of the tumor, and this will affect the parameters of the staging of the tumor. So in order to say this is metastatic tumor, there should be no continuity with the primary tumor. All malignant tumors can give rise to distant metastasis, with the few exceptions. About 1/3 of the patients, cancer patients, tumor patients present with secondaries of unknown primary, or the primary will be known later. For example, the patient may have a carcinoma in the nasopharynx, but he present with the cervical lymphadenopathy, enlargement of a cervical lymph node. So the presenting symptom is the swelling in his neck. And when this swelling is excised and submitted for histopathological examination, the histopathology will say this is a metastatic tumor and this could be from the nasopharynx. Then upper ENT examination done, pharyngeal examination done, and they will found a tumor in the nasopharynx. So the patient may present with the metastatic, with the secondary tumor rather than with the primary tumor. Generally, carcinomas prefer the lymphatic separate. What's the meaning of lymphatic separate? Lymphatic vessels, okay, they metastasize through the lymphatic vessels, while sarcomas prefer the hematogenous separate, meaning they metastasize through the blood vessels, okay? And you remember what is carcinoma and what is sarcoma? What is the difference between carcinoma and sarcoma? No, both of them are malignant tumors, but we use the term carcinoma for what? أي واحد من اللي يسمعوني أونلاين يقدر يجاوب؟ What is carcinoma and what is sarcoma? Nobody? Carcinoma is malignant epithelial tumor, and sarcoma is malignant non-epithelial mesenchymal tumor. Okay, for the bone we call osteosarcoma. For the skin we call squamous cell carcinoma. All right. So we have a few exceptions. The second criteria that differentiate benign from malignant tumor is the rate of growth, in which the rate of growth is faster in the benign or in malignant tumor. Okay, of course, malignant tumor has a faster growth rate than the benign tumor. And this rate of growth is directly related to the degree of differentiation. So we have a new term, which is the differentiation. Differentiation is a histological term, mean determined by the histological examination of the tumor. And it is one of the parameters used for the differentiation between benign and malignant tumors. Differentiation means the extent to which the tumor cell resembles their comparable normal cells, both morphologically and functionally. يعني إلى أي حد التيومر سيل تشبه أقرانها الطبيعية من ناحيتي الشكل والوظيفة. واضح؟ This similarity between the tumor cell and the comparable normal cell will determine the degree of differentiation. All benign tumors are well differentiated. When I say the tumor is well differentiated, this means that the tumor is closely resembling the normal, the comparable normal cell, both functionally and morphologically. Okay? While the malignant tumors could be well differentiated, closely resembling the normal tissue, morphologically and functionally, and it could be undifferentiated. Undifferentiated means there is no similarity. There is complete loss of resemblance to any normal tissue. So it could be on one extreme, could be well differentiation. On other extreme, it could be undifferentiated. And in between, you can put moderately differentiated and fully differentiated. This is our tumor, and from the morphology, it is similar to which tissue? No, this is squamous epithelium. Okay, squamous epithelium. These are squamous cells morphologically, and these are the cells similar to squamous, normal squamous epithelial cells, and this is keratin. The eosinophilic material in the center is the keratin. So when this is squamous cell carcinoma, you will call it well differentiated or poorly differentiated or undifferentiated. Why? No, this is called well differentiated squamous cell carcinoma because the morphology, they are very similar to the normal squamous epithelial cells, and they are functionally similar to the normal squamous epithelial cells by producing the keratin. So this is called well-differentiated squamous cell carcinoma. By morphology, very similar to the normal squamous epithelium by morphology and by function. The function of the squamous is producing what? Keratin. And this is the keratin present. The undifferentiated tumor, we use the term anaplastic tumor for the undifferentiated tumor. So when you hear anaplastic tumor, you will remember this is what? Undifferentiated tumor. Has no similarity to any comparable normal tissue. And this is an example of the undifferentiated or anaplastic tumor, and this is another example. The term neoplasia means lack of differentiation. Okay? Lack of differentiation means lack of similarity to any normal tissue, comparable normal tissue. يعني عندك تيومر لا تقدر تقول عليه كارسينوما ولا تقدر تقول عليه ساركوما لهالحد مرات توصل. يعني تيجي تعرفه هو epithelial tumor or non-epithelial tumor هم ما تقدر. عرفت epithelial tumor وقدرت تقول عليه كارسينوما بس ما تقدر تعرفه هل هو سكويموس سيل كارسينوما، هل هو ادينوكارسينوما، هل هو urothelial carcinoma or transvaginal cell carcinoma. So no similarity to any comparable tissue. Even when you use electron microscope or use immunohistochemical stains or markers, it's still anaplastic, undifferentiated. This is called undifferentiated tumor or anaplastic tumor. So anaplasia means no differentiation, complete lack of differentiation. And the differentiation means what? A similarity to the normal. It is important to keep these terms in your mind. راح تحتاجوها بالمستقبل بكثرة ترى. Another criteria to differentiate benign from malignant tumor are cytological features. Features in the cell, in the cytoplasm, and in the nucleus of the cell. In benign tumors, generally the nuclei are normal, just similar to the normal cells. Normal nucleus, normal cytoplasm. While in malignant tumors, there are features. We call these features cytological features of malignancy. The first is the pleomorphism, and the pleomorphism means variation in shape and size of the tumor. Some nuclei, shape and size of the nuclei. Some of the nuclei are oval, others are polygonal cells, other cells are spindle elongated cells. This is within the same tumor. Variation in size, some of them are small, and some of the tumor cells are large, some of them are bizarre and multinucleated, have multiple nuclei. So this difference, variation or difference in the size and shape of the cells within the tumor is called pleomorphism. Another criteria is the nuclear hyperchromasia. And the nuclear hyperchromasia means dark staining of the nuclei. The nucleus in the malignant tumor is more darkly stained than the benign tumor. This is seen under microscope. ترى حكينا كله هو microscopic هسه. Cytological features يعني microscopic features. The nuclei in the malignant tumors appear more darkly stained and hyperchromatic because they contain abundant chromatin, okay? Because the cell is proliferating and the amount of chromatin is much more than in benign tumor. In our routine practice, the staining of histological sections اللي تشوفوها بالعملي هي صورتين. We use two stains, the eosine and the hematoxylin. Hematoxylin is alkaline, and so it reacts with the acidic structures. The hematoxylin, which gives rise to the purple, the dark blue color of the nucleus, so react with the acidic اللي هي DNA and RNA. DNA present in the nucleus. So when there is abundance of chromatin, there will be more staining, more hematoxylin staining of the nucleus. And so the nucleus appears darkly stained, more than the benign tumor. فهمتوا هسه ليش؟ شو معناها تصير darkly stained. And this darkly stained nucleus is called hyperchromatic nucleus. Okay? This nucleus is hyperchromatic. معناها means it is darkly stained because it contains an abundance of chromatin. This is seen in malignant tumors. Another criteria is the high nucleocytoplasmic ratio, the ratio of the nuclear size to the cytoplasmic size. Normally, it is not more than 1/4 or 1/6. دائما ربع الحجم النيوكليوس هو ربع حجم السيتوبلازم. This is normal, but like this picture, okay? هذا هو الحجم الطبيعي إلى النيوكليوس مقارنة بحجم السيتوبلازم. This is called a nucleocytoplasmic ratio or NC ratio. 1/4 or 1/6, not more than that. While in malignant tumor cells, the nucleus will be so large because it contains abundance of chromatin, and the nucleocytoplasmic ratio will be high, okay? We call it high NC ratio, high nucleocytoplasmic ratio. It may reach 1/1. What is 1/1? عشان تفتهم the NC ratio is 1/1. يعني nucleus will be equal to the size of the cytoplasm. see؟ حتى في ذاتنا حس حتى الدنيا ظهر بس لا تبدي لغاتكم. اوكي محمد يا قاعد اتصور المسافه زينه. And this is the picture of the high nucleocytoplasmic ratio, INC ratio. This is important histological criteria, pathological criteria of malignant tumors. Another criteria is overcrowding and disorganization of the tumor cells within the normal tissue. The normal arrangement or normal orientation of the tumor cells within the tissue is lost. There is overcrowding. Why there is overcrowding of cells in malignant tumor? Yes, because there is rapid proliferation. Rapid proliferation of the cells, so there will be overcrowding. With the overcrowding, there is loss of the normal orientation. For example, in the epidermis, you have the basal layer, columnar epithelial cells, and then there will be keratinocytes, which are oval, polygonal in shape. On the surface, we have the spindle, squamous cells, and then sequence. Okay, this will be lost when in the malignant tumors. Another important histological criteria is the mitotic activity. Mitotic activity, or called mitotic index. Mitotic index simply refers to the number of mitotic figures or mitoses seen in a given number of cells. And each tumor has its own mitotic index. For example, to diagnose leiomyosarcoma of the uterus, what is leiomyosarcoma? Smooth muscle. Leiomyosarcoma is a malignant or benign? Malignant, okay. So it is malignant tumor of smooth muscle fibers. In the uterus, for example, to diagnose leiomyosarcoma in the uterus, you need 10 mitotic figures per 10 high power fields. The same leiomyosarcoma in the stomach, you need 5 mitotic figures per 50 high power field. Okay? So each tumor has its own mitotic index in order to be diagnosed as malignant tumor. So generally, we define mitotic index as number of mitotic figures per a given number of cells. ما نقدر هسه نحدد. However, the high mitotic index does not necessarily indicate malignancy. There are some benign tumors, but they are mitotically active. For example, we have leiomyoma of the uterus with large number, with high mitotic index, but still it is diagnosed as leiomyoma. Leiomyoma, which means benign tumor of smooth muscle. Benign tumor of smooth muscles, leiomyoma. But the presence of abnormal or atypical mitotic figure is a strong indication of malignancy. This is the mitotic figure, which is arrowed by this blue arrow, is abnormal or atypical mitotic figure. It is not similar to any normal mitotic figure seen during the normal cell division. The presence of such abnormal or atypical mitotic figure is a strong indication of malignancy. So we have now 5 cytological features of malignancy. أحد يقدر يعيد إياهن؟ cytological features or nuclear features, nucleocytoplasmic features of malignancy are the pleomorphism, hyperchromasia, high nucleocytoplasmic ratio, yes, overcrowding, and high mitotic index. Okay, these are called cytological features of malignancy. These cytological features of malignancy are grouped under a term atypia. Okay, and the cells showing these features of malignancy are called atypical cells. When this atypia is combined with the disorganization, disarrangement, loss of the normal architecture, loss of the normal alignment, loss of the normal orientation or arrangement of the tissue, when it is combined with the cell atypia, cellular atypia, we use the term dysplasia. So dysplasia is simply defined as cellular atypia with disorganization of the tissue, okay? And the cellular atypia, any cell has the 5 morphological features of malignancy, cytological features of malignancy. Traditionally, dysplasia is classified into 3 grades. Mild dysplasia, when it involves 1/3 of the thickness of the epithelium. And it is called moderate dysplasia when it involves 2/3 of the thickness of the epithelium. And severe dysplasia when it involves the entire thickness of the epithelium. This is the usual classification of dysplasia. Sometimes, in some tumors or some organs, the dysplasia is classified into low-grade and high-grade dysplasia. And low-grade dysplasia includes the mild and moderate dysplasia. So mild and moderate dysplasia sometimes grouped together as low-grade dysplasia. And the severe dysplasia is called high-grade dysplasia. راح تشوفون بالمستقبل اكو تيومرز يسموا اكو اورجانز يكتب لها يقول mild, moderate dysplasia, severe dysplasia, while in other systems of classification يسميها low-grade dysplasia and high-grade dysplasia. Okay, low-grade is combination of mild and moderate dysplasia. Here, the example of the dysplasia. This is the dysplasia. شوف فوق هو normal squamous epithelium, and here you have the hyperchromatic and the pleomorphic nuclei. ما موجودة بس. The dysplasia here involves 1/3 of the thickness of the epithelium. So we called it what? Mild dysplasia. In this example, okay. Here, the dysplasia, the hyperchromasia, and the pleomorphism, and the high NC ratio involves 1/2 of the thickness of the epithelium. So it is called what? It is called moderate dysplasia. While here, the dysplasia involves nearly the entire thickness of the epithelium. And so it is called severe dysplasia. So it is now clear what is atypia, what is dysplasia, and what is moderate, mild dysplasia, moderate severe dysplasia, or low-grade dysplasia, and high-grade dysplasia. هذه المصطلحات راح تبقى تلاحقكم طول حياتكم العملية، ركزوا عليها وفهموها من هسه. ما حد بعد في المستقبل ما حد راح يفهمكم اياها. يعني يقول لك ديسبليجيا وخلاص، هو يريد منك انه انت فاهم وات از ديسبليجيا، واضح؟ يقول لك اتيبيا وهو يريد منك انت فاهم اتيبيا، ما يقعد بعد يشرح لك وات از اتيبيا. When the dysplasia is severe dysplasia involves the entire thickness of the epithelium, but still within the epithelium with intact basement membrane. The basement membrane is intact, is not broken, not invaded by the tumor cells. And here we use the term intraepithelial neoplasia. The old term is carcinoma in situ. مفهوم هذا الحكي؟ intraepithelial neoplasia mean neoplasm within the epithelium. The basement membrane is intact. What is the basement membrane? Okay. Connective tissue membrane on which the epithelium is resting. Here in this picture, this yellow line is representing the basement membrane. Okay. And here, the pinkish color or orange color cells are the atypical cells. And with the disorganization of the tissue, we called it dysplasia. The dysplasia here involves, this is the dysplasia. It involves the entire thickness of the epithelium. So it is severe dysplasia. But the basement membrane, the yellow line, is intact. So this dysplasia is within the confine of the epithelium, within the limit of the epithelium, intact basement membrane. So we called it intraepithelial neoplasia. Neoplasia محصورة within the epithelium, or carcinoma in situ, موضعية. Okay? Always there is evidence that this carcinoma in situ or intraepithelial neoplasia will change to invasive carcinoma once the basement membrane is invaded. Once the basement membrane is destroyed, breached, broken, invaded by the tumor cells, we call it invasive carcinoma. Okay? So what's the sharp line distinguishing the carcinoma in situ or intraepithelial neoplasia from the invasive carcinoma? Okay. The integrity of the basement membrane. When the basement membrane is intact, like in this picture, we call it carcinoma in situ here, or intraepithelial neoplasia. Here, the basement membrane is broken, breached, invaded by the tumor cells. So we call it invasive carcinoma. You may use minimally invasive, widely invasive. It is invasive carcinoma. Once the malignant tumor cells invade the basement membrane, it gets access to the surrounding tissues, to the subepithelial tissues, and get access to the lymphatic vessels or blood vessels, and give rise to distant metastasis. Okay, so we have these terms need to be remembered. What is atypia? What is dysplasia? What is intraepithelial neoplasia or carcinoma in situ? And what is invasive carcinoma? Now, there is a general term used in oncology. You know what is oncology? Science of a tumor. Okay, العلم اللي يتعامل ويا tumors سموه oncology. In the oncology, there is a general term widely used, which is the tumor grade. And so you have to understand and always remember what the term tumor grade means. Simply, tumor grade is the extent of histological deviation from normal. إلى أي حد هذا التيومر histologically microscopically هو بعيد عن النورمال. بمن يذكركم هذا الكلام؟ تونا حكينا differentiation مو differentiation قلنا ايش قد التيومر يشبه النورمال. بس التيومر جريد هو ايش قد التيومر الى اي حد الى اي مدى التيومر هو بعيد عن النورمال. To which extent the tumor cells are histologically deviating from the normal, away from the normal. So it is directly related to the degree of differentiation. And it is also related to the potential aggressiveness of the tumor. To which extent the tumor is aggressive, this is called potential aggressiveness of the tumor. To understand, when on the left side we have the normal, and on the right side we have the tumor. The tumor at this side, what about the degree of differentiation? Is it well differentiated or poorly differentiated? Okay, it's well differentiated because it is very similar to the normal. But what about the grade of the tumor? Is it low grade or high grade tumor? Low grade because it doesn't deviate away from the normal, still near the normal. So I think it is clear that when the tumor is similar to the normal, so it is well differentiated and the grade is low grade. While when the tumor is in this side, it is away from the normal, okay? So the degree of differentiation is poor, not high. When you say high differentiation, you mean high similarity to the normal, يعني well differentiated. Here the differentiation is poor, poorly similar to the normal. So this is called poorly differentiated tumor. And the grade is high. It is away from the normal. So it is high grade. Okay? So from this, we have this general scheme. When the tumor is called grade 1 tumor, you will understand it is well differentiated or poorly differentiated. Well differentiated. Okay? And it is less aggressive, because it is well differentiated. So it is grade 1, it is of low grade. And the grade 2 tumor will be called moderately differentiated and is aggressive more than the grade 1. Grade 3 tumor, poorly differentiated and is more aggressive. And the grade 4 tumor will be undifferentiated. شنو سمينا undifferentiated tumor? Anaplastic. Okay? Anaplastic tumor. And this will be a very aggressive tumor. Then كل ما تكون grade is low, tone differentiation, well differentiation, and the potential aggressiveness less of the tumor. This is general scheme. Each tumor has its own grading system. Some tumors are graded into 3 grades. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Okay? مثلا adenocarcinoma of the colon, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, خلاص. Other tumors are graded into 4 grades. Like transitional cell carcinoma of the bladder, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. Okay? Some tumors are graded into, an example, glioma. Glioma is tumor of the glial cells of the central nervous system, graded into grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. Carcinoma of the prostate graded into 5 grades. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5, okay? So this is general scheme to understand what is the tumor grade and what is the correlation between the tumor grade and the degree of differentiation and the potential aggressiveness of the tumor. Some tumors are classified into 2 grades, low grade and high grade only. So this is general, just to understand what is the correlation between tumor grade, the differentiation, and the potential aggressiveness of the tumor. Generally, if cells within the tumor looks bad, they are probably going to behave bad. Looks bad شنو معناها؟ less differentiation and high grade بعيدة عن النورمال. looks bad. واضح؟ يعني مبين شكلها pleomorphic شقبلة. hyperchromatic, disorganization of the tissue structure, mitotic index of Y. كل هذا نسميه looks bad cells. So it will behave bad. Behave bad means behave aggressively. Like this picture. Okay? In this tumor, the cells within this tumor look bad. Okay? And those people who are pleomorphic, different in shape and size, okay? Even in So what is the expected behavior from such a tumor? The tumor cells look bad. They are pleomorphic in shape and in size. يشوفون اكو tumor cells small, اكو large, اكو spindle, اكو oval, اكو polygonal cells, اكو bizarre cells. So they look bad. So what is the expected behavior from this tumor? Is it good or bad behavior? Bad behavior. So you expect an aggressive behavior of this tumor. While here أصور التمثيل واضح بين الناس وبين هذه مو tumor cells. Look here, so these tumor cells are not looking bad. They are uniform in arrangement, in the shape, in the size. مو مثل ذولي الجماعة الواقفين لابسين يونيفورم ومرتبين واقفين عدل ويطلعوا لك هيك جماعة شنو تترجى منهم؟ يؤذوك؟ More? Okay. So such a tumor, you will expect a good behavior, gentle, benign behavior from such a tumor. هسه واضح? What is the tumor grade? And what is the differentiation? And what is the potential aggressiveness of the tumor? So from the histological examination of the tumor, how can you determine the potential aggressiveness of the tumor? يعني انت باثولوجيست وقاعد تفحص، انا ما اريدك تصير باثولوجيست بس اريدك تعرف شنو معنى تيومر جريد. يعني انطوك التيومر وفحصته ومن هذه الهيستولوجيكال اكزامينيشن شلون راح تعرف this will be aggressively behaving the tumor or less aggressive or benign. Okay. واضح جدا. According to the cell differentiation واعتمادا على cell differentiation you will determine what? The grade. Okay? Grade of the tumor. So by determining the tumor grade, you will expect the degree of aggressiveness, the potential aggressiveness of the tumor. والحكي هسه أصبح واضح. Who is responsible for determination of the tumor grade? The histopathologist, the oncologist, the radiologist? Who's? Histopathologist, okay? Okay? This is the job of the histopathologist. Okay? الشخص اللي راح يفحص التيومر histologically هو اللي راح يعرف similarity to the normal or not. صحيح؟ إذا هو راح يعرف يحدد the tumor grade differentiation and the tumor grade وعلى أساسه راح ينبني the behavior. So this is the tumor grade. So what is the tumor stage? دائما مرضى السرطان وأهلهم يسألوني دائما يسألوني بأي مرحلة مجرد ما يعرف أكو سرطان وبأي مرحلة ويسألك بأي درجة فإذا سألك بأي درجة فيقصد tumor grade. اوكي درجة أولى ثانية ثالثة هسه الناس يعرفون هذا الحكي. وإذا سألك بأي مرحلة فبأي مرحلة يقصد tumor stage. And the tumor stage is a term refers to the extent to the tumor spread into the body. إلى أي مدى الورم منتشر بالجسم. واضح؟ يعرفوها هسه الناس كلهم يعرفوا هذا الحكي ترى. يقول لك مرحلة الورم فايش قد هو منتشر بالجسم، هيك يريد منك يقول لي. So this is called the tumor stage. And the tumor stage is determined clinically and histopathologically. Clinically by the clinical examination, by the physician, by the radiologist. Okay? يعني for example carcinoma of the breast. ونريد نعرف واصلة إلى الليفر أو مكان آخر. Gives rise to metastasis to the liver or not. So by simple ultrasound examination, ultrasonic examination of the liver, the radiologist can detect. Okay, so this is a clinical diagnosis or determination of the state. But this mass in the liver should be confirmed as metastatic carcinoma histologically in order to give the definite tumor stage. So the tumor stage requires both clinical and histopathological examination. Generally, the WHO uses the TNM staging system, ثلاث حروف. The T, letter T, refers to the extent of the local infiltration by the tumor. Okay, to which extent the tumor is infiltrating the surrounding tissue. So it is related to the size of the tumor. كل ما يكون infiltration more, كل ما يكون increasing in size of the tumor. So in some tumors, we use the size of the tumor to determine the T parameter. For example, in the breast carcinoma, we use the size of the tumor. Up to 2 centimeters, it is T1. 2 centimeters, more than 2 and less than 5 centimeters, or up to 5 centimeters, is T2, T3. More than 5, T3, T3, whatever. In other cells, in other tumors, no, we use the local extension, not the size. For example, the tumor is within the mucosa and muscle coat of the colon, we give it T2. Therefore, when invade the serosa and the pericolon tissue, we give it T3. Baba? In the transitional cell carcinoma of the urinary bladder, when it involves the inner half of the muscle coat of the bladder, we call it T2A. When involved the outer half of the muscle coat of the bladder, we call it T2B. When invade outside the bladder, we call it T3. Right? So in some tumors, we use the extent of the local invasion, and in other tumors, we use the size of the tumor. هي نفس الشيء. كل ما يزداد level of extension, extent of extension, كل ما يزداد اللي حجم الورمة يزداد. واضح؟ So this is the key parameter. N parameter refers to the number of local lymph nodes involved by the tumor secondary. يعني, for example, carcinoma of the breast metastasized to the axillary lymph nodes. This is within the normal lymphatic drainage of the breast. When the number of the lymph nodes involved are less than يعني up to 3, we called it N1. okay. more than 3 يعني 4 إلى 9 4 to 9 lymph nodes لقينا بيها metastatic carcinoma نعطيها N2. أكثر من 9 نعطيها N3 وهكذا. So N refers to the involvement of the local lymph nodes. بس إذا carcinoma of the breast لقيناها in the inguinal lymph node هذه شنو نعتبرها؟ Distant metastasis N. Okay? So N refers to the local lymph nodes. The M parameter refers to the distant metastasis. When the distant metastasis is present, نقول M1, not present MO, M0. All right? So this is the T and M staging. Example, when the breast carcinoma is given staged as T1, معناها the tumor size up to 2 centimeters, okay? Or less than 2 centimeters, sorry, less than 2 centimeters. NO, شنو معناها؟ N يعني no lymph node metastases, no secondaries in the local lymph nodes. إذا نطيناها NO. MO شنو معناها؟ No distant metastasis. So this is called stage 1. Okay. وهذه المريضة تعالج على أنها stage 1. واضح؟ لما هي بقت T1 لكنه لقينا tumor secondaries in 2 axillary lymph nodes. So it is N1. انتم هاي ما مطلوب منكم تحفظوها بس حتى تفهم الستيجنج شلون يصير. And still no distant metastasis. فينطوها ستيج 2A ويعالجوها على الأساس. هذه جدول موجود يعني لا أنا حافظه ولا غيري حافظه. كل ما بس بريس لأنه بكثرة نشوف البريس شوية حافظينه. ولا كل ستيجنج لازم نرجع على الجدول ويصير به ابديت يعني WHO والامريكان جوين اوف كانسر كلاسيفيكيشن يحدثون هذا الستيجنج بين فتره وفتره. لما نشوف انه اني تي يعني اني سايز مو مهم صغير كبير التيومر اني ان ليف نود لوكالي واصلت لها ما وصلت لها قد عدد الواصل لها هم كله مو مهم لكن ظهرت ديستنت ميتاستاسيس. اوكي سموها ستيج 4 تيومر. Carcinoma of the breast وعندها secondaries in the bone, in the liver. This is treated as stage 4. Okay? This is called stage 4 carcinoma. بعد ما له علاقة أنا. حجم التيومر ايش قد؟ واصل للسكن ما واصل، واصل للليف نود ما واصل، هذا كله مو مهم. ما دام راحت distant metastasis so it is stage 4. واضح هسه التيومر stage؟ ترتاحون لو نكمل؟ والله هسه احنا تونا على محاضره واحده. انتم عندكم محاضرتين. والاتفاق صار انه المحاضرتين ينطبقن سوا حتى يقل الوقت. يعني ربع ساعه، ثلث ساعه، شو تقولون؟ والله حقكم اذا دايخين حقكم تدوخون، اذا نقصتوا حقكم. 10 دقائق تجرون النفس وتجون وانا لازم اسوي هنا هسه ستوب وما اعرف شلون اسوي. اذا 10 دقائق نبقى للثلاثه، اذا تاخذ 10 دقائق. اللي قاعدين هسه بالبيت راح يحجون عليك، قال معود فضوها. اوكي ان شاء الله. اوكي هذه المحاضرات انا بصراحه راح افوتها. يعني what is the DNA and what is the transcription of DNA, what is the mutation. المفروض انتم ماخذيها بالبيولوجي. واضح؟ بس الشيء اللي اريد اقوله انه اذا حصل DNA mutation اللي هو راح يصير change in the number and or arrangement sequences of the bases nucleoside nuclear bases هذا نسميه mutation in the gene. There will be the formation or encoding for the synthesis of abnormal protein. واضح؟ Normal gene is encoding for synthesis of normal protein, and a mutated gene is encoding for the synthesis of abnormal protein, also mutated protein يسموها oncoprotein بعدين نجي عليه. And these proteins could be enzyme, could be hormone, could be growth factor, could be receptor، كلها هذه نسميها proteins. وهذا المفروض انتم كلهم عارفينه بالميوتيشن. ونبدي هسه المحاضرة الثانية mechanism of invasion and metastasis. Invasion and metastasis are the biological hallmarks of malignancy. شو معنى hallmark؟ العلامة المميزة جدا، العلامة المشخصة اسمها hallmark. Okay? Without invasion, without distant metastasis, there is no malignancy. The tumor that has no ability to invade and has no ability to metastasize, so this is not malignant tumor, this is benign tumor. Not all the tumor cells within the tumor mass has the ability to metastasize. There are only some tumor cells that have the complete set of gene and gene products. What are the gene products? The proteins, no, the product. So only the tumor cells that have the complete set of gene and gene products required to complete all the steps of invasion and metastasis. واضح؟ يعني when the tumor cell start invasion and metastasis هي في كل مرحلة لازم تكون فد بروتين معين يساعدها على اجتياز هذه المرحلة. فإذا هذه الجينات اللي هي المطلوبة كلها expressed, so it will can metastasize and reach to distant site. These tumor cells are called metastatic subclones. Each tumor cells have complete set of genes required for completion of all steps of invasion and metastasis are called metastatic subclones, are the cells. So for the tumor cell to metastasize, it should first detach itself from the tumor mass. مو هي متشلبة بالتيومر ماس والتيومر ماس كلها يصير به انفيجن سيل واحدة جروب يعني single cells. Then when detached itself from the tumor mass, it should be able to destroy the basement membrane. Okay? And after destroying the basement membrane, it should be able to destroy the extracellular matrix in the subepithelial tissue. And then it should be able to travel, to migrate, to move in order to reach the blood vessel or lymphatic vessel. طب البلاد vessel ما قاعد ثاني لازم هي تمشي له توصل له. And when reach the vessel, lymphatic or blood vessel, it should be able to penetrate the vessel wall. And this is called intravasation. And when penetrating the vessel wall, it is now within the circulation, it should be able to protect itself from the immune system. It is now exposed to the immune system. And when it protects itself from the immune system, it should be able to reach the distant site and then extravasate, mean leaves the vessel, the blood vessel or lymphatic vessel, to the immune site. And again, it should be able to accommodate at the new site and homing there. لازم تتكيف وتستوطن هنا. واضح؟ So all these steps of invasion and metastasis require expression, activation of genes in order to producing gene products, proteins, in the form of the hormones, growth factor, receptors, enzymes required to complete this. Only the cell that has the complete set of activated expressed genes used for the completion of all the steps of metastasis, the cell, only the cell will be able to metastasize. واضح? So, the metastatic cascade, there are two phases. Invasion of the extracellular matrix and then vascular dissemination and homing. homing تعرفون شنو homing؟ اللي هو الاستيطان، والاستيطان انك تزرع تجي مستعمرة جديدة في مكان جديد. واضح؟ The extracellular matrix بس شوية نتذكر الهيستولوجي مالته. It involves the basement membrane and the interstitial connective tissue. The basement membrane is composed of مثل ما هسه انت حكيت قلت هو عبارة عن connective tissue والبيزمنت membrane. Connective tissue الموجود بالبيزمنت membrane هي تايب 4 كولاجين and لامينين. أريدكم تتذكرون هذول راح نجي عليه. And the basement membrane is composed of type 4 collagen and laminin. While the interstitial connective tissue, the collagen will be glycoproteins. واضح? So the first step is the invasion of the extracellular matrix. اللي هو منه extracellular matrix اللي هو basement membrane and interstitial connective tissue. وصولا إلى blood vessel or lymphatic vessel لازم تخترق هذول بالبداية. In the first step in the invasion of extracellular matrix is the detachment of the tumor cell from the tumor mass, loosening up. قلنا تيومر سيل حتى تشوف دربها وتروح تشوف لها مكان تعيش فيه لازم تخلص نفسها من التيومر سيل from the tumor mass. Okay? Then it should be able to attach to the basement membrane and interstitial connective tissue. الاثنين سميناهم extracellular matrix. And then it should be able to degrade. Okay, شنو degrade? Degradation. تفسخهم وتحلل هذه extracellular matrix. So we'll have degradation in order to migrate. So it should be able to move, to migrate, to locomote through the degraded extracellular matrix. These are the 4 steps of the first major step in the invasion of metastasis, which is the invasion of the extracellular matrix. For the tumor cell to start the trip of invasion and metastasis, it should first detach itself from the tumor mass. واضحة أصبحت؟ The most important and the strong transmembrane adhesion molecule is the cadherin. أخذتوها للهيستولوجي بالبيولوجي يمكن أخذتوها cadherin. And this is the cadherin. Look to the arrow. Okay? It is very strong adhesion molecule that adhere the cells to each other. Normally, in the tumor cells, there is decreased expression of cadherin molecule. So the gene encoding for the cadherin should be first what? Suppressed, not suppressed. Should be suppressed. So the tumor cell should be able to suppress the cadherin gene and decrease the production of the cadherin molecule in order to liberate detached itself from the tumor mass. واضح هسه؟ بس ملاحظة. Generally, each tumor, any tumor in our body, والله عليكم, any cell in our body has complete set of genes. واضح؟ Cell in the epidermis and the cell in the intestinal mucosa, both of them have the same genes and complete set of genes, but some of them are expressed, activated, and others are suppressed, inactivated, according to the function of this. So the first step, there is suppression of the gene, cadherin gene, and decreased expression of formation or synthesis of the cadherin adhesion molecule. By this, the tumor cell can detach, can liberate itself from the tumor, from the tumor mass. Then, after detachment, it should be able to attach to the matrix component. Matrix component, here, basement membrane and interstitial connective tissue in order to start the process of degradation. حتى تبدي degradation لازم تشلب بيهم أول مرة، تمسكهم. واضح؟ The expression of the molecules, adhesion other molecules and receptors by the tumor cells like laminin specific receptors. Laminin when لقينا موجود in the basement membrane, okay? So the tumor cell express more laminin specific receptors. In order, these are the brownish color. The brown color are the laminin receptor and the red color is the laminin, okay? So the tumor cell express more laminin receptors. And there is activation and expression of the laminin receptor gene. So synthesis of the laminin receptors. Express more laminin all around the cell. And so this enables the cell to attach more to the basement membrane. Another molecule, adhesion molecule expressed by the tumor cell is the integrin. سامعين بها integrins. Integrins اللي هي أيضا surface receptors that interact with the extracellular matrix in two ways, inside out and outside in. It carries signals from outside to the inside the cell and then sends signals to the outside. So it is important for the rapid response of the cell to the extracellular matrix, to the changes in the extracellular matrix. In metastasizing the tumor cells, the integrins are expressed. So there is increased expression of the laminin-specific receptors and an increased expression of the integrins. After attachment to the extracellular matrix, the tumor cell should be able to degrade the extracellular matrix. This degradation is important to what? To create passageways move. And this degradation is an active enzymatic process. Means for the tumor cells to start degradation, it should be able to produce proteolytic enzymes. معناها شنو؟ معناها الانزيم اللي تحلل البروتينز، اوكي؟ اللي يسوي degradation. So for the tumor cell to synthesize this proteolytic, should be expression of genes اللي هي مسؤولة عن هذه الانزيمز. فاذا ما عندها هذا الجين خلاص انتهت الرحله مالتها، راح توقف لهنا وتموت بعد، ما راح تسوي اي شيء. And in human tumor cells we have three important proteolytic enzymes produced by the metastasizing tumor cells. The metalloproteinase, which is type 4 collagenase. Where's type 4? In the basement membrane. إذا أول ما تكب تشلب بالبيزمنت membrane, then secrete metalloproteinase, so we degradation to the type 4 collagen, which is present in the basement membrane. Okay? Other proteolytic enzymes are the cysteine and serine proteinase. These are responsible for the degradation of the laminin and the glycoprotein. واضح؟ شلبت attached to the basement membrane, secrete metalloproteinase, destroying the type 4 collagen. Then secrete cysteine and serine proteinases, then causing degradation of the laminin اللي هو ايضا موجود في basement membrane and the glycoproteins in the interstitial connective tissue. Simply, so the process of degradation is an active enzymatic. The process requires producing of proteolytic enzymes by the tumor cells. So the metastasizing the tumor cells should be able to produce these proteolytic enzymes to degrade the extracellular matrix. راح اخلصكم بس هاي الشغلات الصغيره بعد لا تقولوا انتم طبوا لنا محاضرتين. هم قايلين لا ممثل المرحله الثالثه قايل وريتين ينتظم على مودي. لا قرار مجلس طلبه كليه الطب. هذا قرار مجلس طلبة كلية الطب وافقت عليه العمادة وإحنا في مجلس الكلية وافقنا عليه. إنه المحاضرتين في نفس اليوم يندمجن حتى اختصارا للوقت. يعني الطالب لا يبقى ساعتين بدل ما يبقى ساعتين يبقى ساعة وربع ساعة ونص أحسن لك. هيجي. هذا قراركم ترى مو قراري مو على مودي أبدا. أنا أروح لي ترى أسوي ساعتين. Then after degradation of the extracellular matrix, there will be locomotion, moving of the cells through the degraded, okay, the extracellular matrix. The degradation of products, من نتحلل extracellular matrix راح يصير products. The degradation of products of the extracellular matrix also has a promotion chemotactic activity. Okay? النتائج الكيميكالز هنقول اللي نتجت عن degradation of the extracellular matrix يسمونها products of matrix degradation have growth promoting effect يساعد على الجروث and have angiogenic effect. What is angiogenic? Angio. قلنا angio معناها vessel. Angiogenic effect يعني used for the synthesis of new blood vessels. Useful in the angiogenesis, formation of new blood vessels. And also have chemotactic effect. أخذتوا بالinflammation chemotaxis. Okay, the attraction of the cell to a site in one direction. And this is called chemotactic effect. So this chemotactic effect will promote the migration of the tumor cells. In addition to these chemotactic materials coming from the degradation of extracellular matrix, the tumor cell should express autocrine motility factors. The autocrine motility factors, these are factors produced by the metastasizing tumor cells to enable the cell to move, to locomote through the degraded extracellular matrix. هذه الصورة ما مطلوب تحفظوها، لكن simply the tumor cell move in an amoeboid، يعني amoeba like. اوكي، ذكروها الاميبا لو ما اخذتوها بعدكم الهيستولوجي. اوكي، so first step there should be release of the or adhesion. First step, the front of the tumor, read this pointer here, the front of the tumor extends forward. Then make adhesion to the matrix. واضح؟ Then the third stage is the removal of the old adhesion and then contraction of the skeleton of the cell. يعني تقدم المقدمة مالتها لقدام adhere to the matrix. واضح؟ Then release the old adhesion اللي هو at the tail، خلينا نقول at the tail of the cell, and then contraction of the cytoskeleton. واضح؟ بهذا الشكل. While all these movements require the expression of these genes. يعني the first step requires the expression of RAC CDC42 gene. واضح؟ And second step requires the expression of the RAC gene. Determination of direction of the movement requires these genes. وهكذا. Contraction of the cytoskeleton within the cell body of the cell requires the RHO gene expression. واضح? So, in each step of the metastasis, the tumor cell needs to express sets of genes to produce sets of protein use. لهنا وكافي بعد ما صوركم تتحملون. لا انتم ولا اللي قاعدين بالبيت، اللي قاعدين بالبيت هسه عفوا الموبايل على صفحه وقعدوا يتغدون اتصور، مو؟ كالعاده. اوكي، شكرا. سباعي، عافيه سبع. اي يلا اسال. الكويز العملي مستمر في كل اسبوع. لا، هي كويزاتنا معلنه ما فيها مشكله، يعني شنو المشكله؟ اسمح لي، يعني بقى يعني يوم الاربعاء ما راح تقدرون قادرين على انكم تجاوبون على، يعني تقرون المحاضره او شيء. يوم الاربعاء، اوكي، يعني هالاسبوع. اوكي، يعني انا بصفتي رئيس قسم ترى راح يعني اقدر اقول هالاسبوع ما راح نسوي كويز، لكن الاسبوع القادم راح يكون اكو كويز في كل ماده التيومر. اوكي، كويز بسيط لا تخافون من عنده. ان شاء الله اجاوبك على المسج. هسه الطلاب كلهم يسمعوني، هذا الاسبوع ماكو كويز، لكن الاسبوع القادم اكو كويز يشمل كل التيومر، العملي الاول والثاني لفصل التيومر. اوكي، بعد ساعدني. اوكي، اكو بعد سؤال اولادي؟ اذا ماكو سؤال احنا بعد نطفي هنا. يلا.